Hey, Aaron Adams here with Infinity Investing. Continuing our real estate mistakes, rookie mistakes that real estate investors make. We started with a three-part series of beginner mistakes. This next series is going to be focused on intermediate mistakes that business owners make. I currently have over 100 different companies, different unique businesses that I own, everything from property management, construction, leasing, loan servicing, title, a lot of different kinds of businesses. And as I work with different partners across the country, I see these mistakes repeating themselves the very same way that happened when I got started. And so I have another 3 videos that we're going to record for this intermediate series, and then we'll move on to the advanced series. Now, each one of these items we could really dig into in depth and do a deep dive on them. But I really kind of want to focus at a 35,000 foot level so that you could take each one potentially and say, wow, that does what he's saying resonates. It is something I need to work on and kind of run from there. And so let's jump right in on these first 3 that we have for today. So let me just get so I can draw here on the slide. So the first one, this one was actually such an important topic that I kind of combined. It's one mistake that people make, but there's 3 important components to it. So it's kind of one big mistake that I've broken down in a little bit more detail. And it's the difference between starting your business versus growing a team. And intermediate investors are usually someone that they've proven that they can make a go at it. So maybe you've left your job, you've made $100,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $150,000 a year for a couple of years, and now you have come to this crossroads where you're not worried about paying your bills anymore, but you want to make more money, and so you've already checked the box that you can identify, a product or a niche in real estate. Maybe you're flipping houses, maybe you're doing commercial, whatever your niche is. And now you want to start building and growing a team. And the problem with that is that there's 2 completely different skill sets required for what you need to be able to start a business versus what you need to build and grow a team. And fundamental to that is, if you're starting a business, you need to have the courage to go out on your own. You need to have the work ethic and the personal organizational skills to get up every day and to do hard jobs and to do things that are difficult. You need to be frugal with your money, but not overly starve your business. There's some personality traits that you have to have in order to be successful as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. But when you go to grow a team, there's a whole different set of skills that are required of you personally. And if you lack those skills or you don't find a way to work around some of those requirements, then what you'll find is you struggle to grow a team, or you burn through employees. And I've watched business partners and other business owners really struggle because it's 2 completely different personality sets, skill sets. And so I guess one of the first things that jumps to mind is this idea of complementary personalities. A rookie mistake that I see intermediate investors make is that they subconsciously, and this was a trap that I fell into, you want to, I said, well, I'm neurotic and good at multitasking and highly driven, and I have great work ethic. I just need to find 10 people like me. And that was completely a mistake, because all of the skills that have made me be successful don't tend to play nice together in a sandbox. And so I realized very quickly that I need individuals working for me whose weaknesses complement my strengths and whose strengths complement my weaknesses. So in my case, I tend to work best with employees who are highly analytical, maybe a little bit more introverted, more detail focused, who want a more predictable schedule. They like the predictability. They like a narrow focus, a kind of an assembly line mindset. Because then when I bring my skills to that kind of working relationship, it tends to create a really productive environment, because anything that I'm lacking as someone in that business, my employees are making up for it, because those tend to be more of their strengths. And so anything bookkeeping related, spreadsheet related, those types of things, in my specific case, those are the kind of people that I want to bring in. And, I met a business once where they were very devout Christian. And so they said, well, we only want Christian employees and Christian customers and everything done in a Christian way. And on one hand, I can see why that would be very appealing. But what they ended up doing was they lost out on a lot of business. They lost out on a lot of potential for employees, really great employees, because they picked such a narrow focus for how they wanted to run that business. And it ended up really hurting the business over time and limiting its ability to grow. And so what you need to think of is and the question I want you to ask yourself is what do you suck at? What do you struggle with in a business environment? And then how do you bring those kind of people in? Now, the problem with growing a team is that a lot of it is sales. So if you're not good at sales, then you are really going to struggle to grow your business and to grow a team. Because what you're really saying to someone is, if you join my team, it's going to help you get what you want. It's the whole adage, to get what you want, help other people get what they want. So how do you get someone to see that associating with your organization helps get them to their very next step and gets them down the path in life that they want to be on? And so one of the best ways to do that is to have a distinct culture. So for example, when I started growing my operation in Indianapolis, which was back in 2005, I said, I want people to have plenty of vacation time. So we gave people 1 week off every quarter. And we gave them from Christmas to New Year's off, and we gave them a generous amount of sick time. And that's a cultural decision that we made that has been very beneficial. I wanted a culture with no middle management. I wanted a very compressed culture with high accountability. I wanted an informal culture where people didn't have to wear a uniform or wear suits and dresses to work every day. And really what I did was build a culture that was reflective of the things that I valued most, that was authentic to me. And when you build a culture in your company and people feel that it's authentic and it's a good culture, it's a winning culture, then people will really be drawn to that and they'll want to stay with your company. And so people, I find that a lot of business owners, intermediate investors, they struggle because they think of their employees as, well, I need you for this. You're my asset. And this is what I want from you. Me. Instead of thinking, okay, how do I get people to want to be here? And how do I get people to see that being here is going to be the best thing for them in their financial journey? And so, you're not able to answer those questions if you haven't even thought about them. And so my purpose here is to make you kind of maybe think of some of these things right now, so you can start saying, well, what do I want my culture to be? What's a culture that people are going to want to work for 20, 30 years? What's the hallmark of that culture going to look at, okay, or look like? Now, one of the other important principles for this, for growing a team, and it kind of builds on what we're talking about here, is that nobody works for you. Nobody works for your company. They work for themselves. And you can never forget that. If they have kids, they don't put, my employees' kids don't put from Aaron on the Christmas presents. They don't put from Alpine on the Christmas presents. They put, from mom and dad or from Santa Claus. And, I had an employee say to me once, I've worked so hard for your company. I said, no, you worked so hard for you. It happened to be at my company, but you were working for you. Because if I stopped paying you, you wouldn't have kept working for the company. And it's important to let employees know, like, look, I'm glad that you're working for you. I want to help you feel like you're moving forward financially and that you're moving forward in a career. I want you to have autonomy. I want you to feel purpose in your work. I want you to feel like you're gaining mastery over skills that you could take to another company if you decided to leave and that have value. And so you don't work for me, you're working for you. And I'm cool with that because in the capacity of you working for you, there's a lot that you can help me do, and we can be on this kind of journey together. If you don't internalize that concept, again, people will feel like they are less valuable to you as a business owner. And so this whole idea of starting a business and then growing a team is definitely an intermediate topic. And if you're in that position and you have a business, but you've struggled to build a team that will go to war with you, that are loyal to you, that love working for you, then hopefully some of these ideas you can start thinking about incorporating. So on our next segment, you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to go through 3 other common intermediate rookie mistakes for real estate. And then we have a final 3 under this same intermediate category. So make sure that you stay with us and keep joining us for these videos. Thanks.